There we go.
Yep, everything is now back up on Twitch, so I'm going to give the countdown.
Perfect. Thanks for the patience, everyone, with that technical issue there. We'll be getting right back into the race. Looks like the players are still practicing, but once the stream catches up, we'll have Mongaza Speedway started. Looks like the real start from Metallica. Or not. I spoke too soon.
They're both on the pause screen.
Metallica opting to go with Mars Guo. That's no good with Bullseye Navor. Interesting choices from both of them. Mars and Bullseye have very similar handling stats, and actually somewhat similar average speeds, but Mars has a much longer boost that Metallica should be able to leverage for a pretty big advantage here.
And here we go. Now we're started. Mars Grow, you could literally hold the boost like almost all the way if you time it well. And that's not good as off.
Yeah, those boosts you see Metallica holding are possible to do with Ben, but much easier with Mars. It just happens that Mars is a safer pick, and of course Ben was banned here.
.43.01 for Metallica.
Not a bad time for Mars there, a couple of sub 14 laps. .46.217 for That's No Good. Also a perfectly fine time for Bullseye.
Yep. Bang Mars Grow. Abyss from
Mars Glow pod ban is interesting. I wonder if That's No Good intends to use a force to ban another pod here and strip away one of the safer picks from Metallica on a course.
Scrappers Run, no forces.
All right, so we should be seeing both players picking Ben for Scrapper's Run. It is one of the shorter courses in the game, about a 1 minute 53, 1 minute 52 would be a pretty fast time to set here. Well, I suppose a 151 would be a very fast time. 153 might be a little slow. But once again, That's No Good picking a shorter course where a couple of mistakes from Metallica might secure him the win.
And Metallica going with Ben Quaternaros.
That's No Good hovering Bullseye. I wonder if that's what he'll be going with. Nope, picks Ben. Alright. That makes sense. This is not one of the harder courses in the game. There are a few places where you can get hung up, but otherwise it's fairly straightforward. Looks like both players are ready, so we'll give the countdown here in a sec, and we'll be off. Predictions open this year yet? I am not sure what that would entail, but I was not here last year, so perhaps Draco would know?
I think the predictions opened up after the group stage was over with.
Howdy to you as well, Jose and chat. Always glad to see new names and faces coming to watch some pod racing. Alright. This should be the real start for Metallica here. And that's no good, starting just after him. Alright, Metallica opting not to take the jump off the wall there. While this is no skips, there is a wall ride you can do right out of that first tube section that lets you jump over just a little bit of the track. It doesn't skip enough for the community to consider it a true skip, so it would be allowed here, but it's quite risky.
38 first lap for Metallica.
Actually, surprisingly close pace here, considering Metallica's using Ben, who is a fair bit faster than Bullseye.
.37 for Metallica.
Metallica just trying to max out his heat there, since it is the last lap. You do want to be crossing the finish line with as much heat as you possibly can. Oh, and a bad crash.
Death.
It's so easy to crash there on that sharp 90-degree turn, and that's really unfortunate, because otherwise this race looked very clean from That's No Good.
152 for Metallica. Oh, That's No Good crashes again.
Yeah, Metallica once again setting a very solid time here. And that looked like, yeah, a 214.5 for That's No Good.
Okay, we already have the next bit pod and track ban. That's No Good banning Ben, and Metallica banning Abyss.
Bunta Eve Classic is picked by That's No Good. This is, of course, the famous track from the movie.
Okay. And with Ben banned, you could expect either, I suspect both are probably going to go with Bullseye, though I wouldn't be surprised to see Mars.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is one of the tracks I haven't thought about who a secondary might be. Normally you would assume Bull's Roar, but this track seems pretty unplayable for Bulls, who has a similar average speed to Ben, but much worse handling. And Ben's handling is already not great.
Yeah, I'd say Ben's handling is really stiff but stable.
Yeah, on some of the turns in Bunta Classic, he can really get stuck. If you get even a little bit offline, you're going to crash. Ben is definitely a case of he is the fastest, but he can just barely do a lot of the tracks.
Metallica going with Bullseye. It's like both
Looks
of them
like
are going with Bullseye.
Yep, very safe pick here. Bullseye has a reasonable average speed and decent boost thrust, which is what dictates that. And of course, the best handling of any pod in the game, so he can very easily navigate these nasty turns.
Okay, looks like both are ready, so we're gonna give the countdown.
And you'll see as we get through, but this is actually one of the tracks where there is true RNG in this game. In the Canyon Dune turn, where the Tusken Raiders fire at you.
Yeah, actually, Hayu Doro, who was a legendary in 64 runner, he actually found out that you could, if you timed your boosts just right, you could trick the game into dodging the flames, but at high level now with Ben, it's practically impossible to do because doing it means compromising your speed now. So it went from having total RNG to being able to dodge it, and now it's back to being RNG again.
I'm not certain of this, but I would imagine that Bullseye would be able to do the RNG manipulation on every lap without losing much speed, just due to the nature of his boost being much shorter, but recharging much faster than Ben's.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're getting the... Yeah, I think we're getting the true start from Metallica, and that's no good, is starting. Both of them using an AI because it will take out a critical stalactite, and ooh! Failed to get the boost on the shortcut. That's gonna hurt Not So Good terribly.
Yeah, losing a lot of time there. If you don't manage to start your boost before you get on there, you can't charge it while you're going uphill, both because it's uphill and it's off-road terrain, which slows you down too much to be able to use that.
And then you got the double whammy being forced onto the slower lower path.
That's no good, though. Does seem to know, all of the paths for the game. Ooh. Yeah, trying to repair that red engine, which was pulling him to the right, and he just slams right into that pillar.
And Metallica nearly avoids a crash into the stalactite.
And coming through the Canyon Dune turn there is Metallica, just finishes it. Those fires that you see were the RNG we're talking about, where the Tusken Raiders shoot at you. Those fires not only light your engines on fire, they also cause you to lose a ton of traction and give you a little bit of a thrust in a random direction, so it can be very, very difficult to navigate.
Ooh, Metallica hit a rock at full speed, and now the heavy damage.
Yeah, looks like he's trying to mix in some repair there.
Ah! Looks like the Jawas did not... And he got respawned underneath the Sandcrawler, and there goes Metallica crashing.
Yeah, that chicane right there is really, really tight, even for Bullseye. The track looks quite wide, so it can kind of sneak up on you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Not so good makes it this time, but he was on very high heat. Ooh, crashes
Oh,
into the corner.
same mistake as Metallica. Just trying to take that a little too fast.
Very clean boost now that Cibola took out the stalactite and crashes.
It's certainly a very bold pick from That's No Good. One of the 3 hardest tracks in the game for sure is Bunta Classic. There is just no part of this track that doesn't want to make you crash.
Yeah.
And during a casual playthrough, there are so many branching paths you could take, you could end up losing quite a lot of time, even racing a clean race, just because you took the wrong path at one of the forks.
Ooh. Metallica barely got that boost.
I am very surprised he managed that with the crashing into that rock.
I actually had a few times where I would deliberately crash into that rock, then gun the boost.
Fair to make future laps easier, that makes sense.
Yes. Ooh, send in the Jawas. We've got Scrap. He crashed near the Sandcrawler.
Oh, and Metallica clipping that pillar. Crashing just here before the hit.
That's the take, bud.
Yeah, unfortunately has to not do the off-road jump there. You saw him jump over that section of off-road terrain to cut the corner, but as we mentioned before, on off-road you can't charge your boost, and it's just not fast enough if you're not boosting over it.
Ooh, and that's no good. Does not get it again. Ouch.
Yeah, making that shortcut jump at the start of the lap can be quite difficult. If you're not going fast enough, you will just fall down, possibly even take a crash.
Wow, I'm amazed Metallica survived that. And that.
Getting to red engine twice there, but Bullseye's repair is fast enough to get him back into the game. He'll limp across the finish line with 2 heavily damaged engines, though. .522.36 for Metallica. A couple deaths for him here, which is uncharacteristic based on his previous races, but I mean, it's the Booty of Classic. This track eats pod racers for breakfast. Oh, and crashes into the rock pillar in the Canyon Dune turn, trying to take that tighter line. Or that's no good.
522.358 for Metallica.
That's no good, just narrowly avoiding that crack in the canyon wall there. Should be home free now.
Looks like 631.898 for Not So Good. Once again, Mars Band and Abyss Band.
And we're going to Death Row's Revenge, no horses. Death Row's Revenge, definitely the most chill track of the Galactic Circuit, which is the same circuit the Boonty Eve Classic is on. I like to think that the designers put it in there as a nice breather after going through Grabvine Gateway and Sebulba's Legacy and everything, to give you a bit of a breather before the brutal tracks right at the end.
Well, so this is match point for Metallica.
In chat, we've got here's Metallica with Enter Sand People. I like that. We'll have to accost him to make that cover.
And that's like I said, I'm ready, but at what cost?
And Metallica is getting ready as well. Really, Mikey, do you think that would probably increase the excitement of the game if we modded it so that every track has sand people firing at you? It'd certainly make ILs a bit more exciting, everything being RNG.
Not to mention you could get more scrap there.
Ooh, yes. If you got extra parts in the junkyard every time you crashed during tournament mode, that would be something.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just gonna say, I wasn't sure if that was the real run for Metallica. Looked a little early for him to have started. Should be beginning what could be the final race here, Metallica on match point. Both players electing to use Ben. Glad to see that That's No Good is comfortable with Ben on this track.
And Metallica's off. And crashes right away into the pillar.
Interesting to see Metallica taking the top line through that tunnel there. Obviously, on the infamous Abyss, you have to stay on the top line. It is a terrible time loss if you don't. But on here, you'll actually usually see runners dropping down to the lower level to make use of some extra fast terrain there. It is a little risky. You can crash on the sidewall, so Metallica playing it safe there.
Ooh, that was a dicey lap. He almost clipped into the crane and the top of the beam too.
Oh, That's No Good crashing in a very awkward spot. That's going to force a second crash. That's very unfortunate for him. The respawn point there is just not far enough back that you can actually get the speed when you get over that jump.
"42."
Let's hope That's No Good makes it over the jump this time around. And he does. No crash this time and makes the boost. And there goes Metallica with the out-of-bounds finish. The game does still count. Yeah, very solid timing. And yeah, what you saw Metallica doing, it's almost more for show than anything else. It is slightly faster, but mildly risky, as you do lose about 3 seconds if you fail it. But the game does count you as moving over the finish line, even if you do it underneath the track.
Oh man, SpeedGaming rating with a party of 95 even though this is the end of the match? Ouch. Whoa,
Ooh.
hit a texture kill spot.
Yeah, just one of the idiosyncrasies of this game. Sometimes you can die to literally nothing.
And... Okay.
3 minutes, 783,000 for... That's no good. That's some unfortunate deaths there, especially in that first lap where he crashed right next to the edge and got forced to take another crash.
Okay, looks like we have that's the good during, or looks like we're gonna have some interviews. Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello? Oof, that was a pretty interesting match.
Yeah, all I can say is I've realised this is completely different from the Game Boy Color port, which is what I've been practicing the entire time.
Oh, that would explain some things. For those who don't know, there was a Game Boy version of this game, which is completely different. It is not at all the same game.
I think it's pretty obvious by the fact that it's a Game Boy Color port of a game that's in 3D.
Yes.
Attempts on 3D on the Game Boy Color is an interesting topic that's for a different, probably, conversation altogether.
Well, congratulations to Metallica on the win.
Thank you, thank you. I do think the MGS pick was a pretty good idea, because, you know, if I had died a single time, then I would have lost for sure. I actually got pretty nervous there, so that was a good one.
I enjoy MGS as it is. It's a very basic track. That's kind of what I see it as, at least. All the other tracks in a lot of the tracks are very complicated, and they're good for that. But MGS is just a simple, basic track, and I very much enjoy putting the AI on slow and just racing around the track and screaming at all the vehicles that you whack into. It's great.
It's short but sweet.
Yeah. I picked some tracks I don't even think I've raced on for ages, like Death Wish Revenge. I swear I haven't played that track since last year, so
Oh, I see. You were saying in chat, like, I don't even know anymore, things like that. I guess you're at random at that point.
I don't know. I think I picked like Boonton Classic because I know that's the one I find difficult with. Scrapper's one I enjoy as a track. I think I played Scrapper's Run a lot, and then I sort of got used to sharp turns because of it in some way, but not all the corners, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't crash into many things. Yeah, it was a fun. It was fun track selection. Fun amount. I assume a lot of crashing to report.
Let's see.
Same here.
Yep, very fun match to watch. It can be very difficult with so many tracks in the game to pick which ones you want, right? There's so much to be good at.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about.
But especially the Mongazo Speedway time and Scrapper's Revenge. Scrapper's Run, not Scrapper's Revenge. You look pretty solid on That's No Good, so.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I've actually done most of this track without crashing. I'm so surprised. I might actually finally get an entire. Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, and we just about caught that, the nasty warning turn right after the tunnel, eating you as it has eaten so many other pods.
I I jinxed myself, and I'm never gonna live that down. I was thinking it. I was about to say it. I was like, "Woohoo! I've done it! I've done." No. It reminds me of the F1 race where someone says, "And Nigel Mansell's on the last lap. He's about to win. He's about to come home with the championship, and his tire blows." Commentator jinxed it.
That's ridiculous.
That's what happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's this game, right? This is truly one of the most difficult racing games ever produced.
It is. I think that's what makes it really replayable, though. Apart from, I think the only gripe with this game is the AI not being challenging enough. The rest of the game is really solid. It's amazing for a Windows 95 game. Well, most were good, but the idea that a game like this is really replayable and has multiple different outcomes on each track. Still a reason why it's probably got a deeper community behind it as well.
Yeah, it's certainly a testament that it's still being played, over 20 years later.
If only game companies could make games like this now.
They don't make stuff like they used to with everything now.
Oh, back in my day, we had black and white televisions.
Oh my god.
Were there any final comments from the runners? I think I've gotten through what I wanted to say.
I don't think I have anything else to say, really.
Just a warning, don't play this game with a keyboard. It will cripple you.
My hands do
But the
hurt a
thing
lot
is
after
that
playing.
but the best player in this game in Ace is a keyboard warrior, though.
Yeah, that's true.
That may be, but I have to say, numerous times where I think I've played this game with a keyboard. I think when I first got it, I have to say this is one of the only racing games where playing with a keyboard is good in a sense because it's spread out. I always like the idea that going forwards and turn left and right on two separate parts of the keys board because that sort of works. It makes sense. Like I don't know why the games haven't implemented that idea. The only issue with it is that all the other keys have to be used as well to turn left and right and well, not but up and down and side to side. And to slide is the space bar, which is just.
Yeah, playing on keyboard can cause some hand strain in this game. So, perhaps wise words there. If you're going to pick this game up, even on PC, use a controller.
Yeah, that's why I stuck with the 64 for so long, is because the controller is so ergonomical to me, though it's hard, plastic control stick, caused a ton of blisters and calluses back in the day.
You should use the palm of your hand, right?
Not really, because my hands are so big, and I enjoyed that controller because it had such big handles I could hold it like a pistol vice grip.
Yeah, I really should invest in a proper controller for this game. I've got a just a knockoff PS3 controller that someone gave me. That's what I use. I'm on my last one. I got two, and now I've only got one because the other one broke.
Oh my god. PlayStation controller isn't that ergonomical, I would have to say. I preferred the Xbox and Nintendo controllers because of their ergonomics.
Yeah, I have an Xbox One. I haven't got it set up for the game, but I did think I got that one going at one point. That does work. Only issue with the Xbox One controller is when I turn, I can hear a massive clunk. The plastic on it, I don't know what it is, but it sounds so loud every time you make a movement. It drives me mad. especially when I recorded like some footage of something to show a friend, and with my microphone also to talk over it. And all he said, I realised you're using a joystick. What joystick are you using? Microphone. I can hear it. Look, bang, 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 as I do every movement. Yeah, Xbox controls. They are. I do think they are feel better, but they especially Xbox One controller, what clunkier. Xbox 360 controller somehow sounds better than the Xbox One controller. I don't know what they changed. It overall worse, but it sounds better.
I am with Mikey and Roni in chat. I am a keyboard player as well, but the strain can start to get to you.
I think it might be good later on, but I think for me when I started out, it was definitely more of a need of a controller, because keyboards, and then against some other people, and it was like, yeah, what do you use? Oh, I use a keyboard because, but my keyboard's very squashed, so I may not have the proper keyboard experience. I do have a proper keyboard now, but beforehand I like my laptop keyboard, and my arrow keys like half the size of normal arrow keys. So
That might have done it.
That might be the reason why I've sort of went, I'm not going to go keyboard, but I'm not going to change my ways now. I've learnt the controller. I'm not going to go back on myself.
That's exactly with me with the 64 controller. I know it so well after doing it for nothing but errors that I don't want to switch until it goes kaput.
Yeah, exactly. We're set in our ways.
Yeah.
That's why I still use a dot matrix printer. There's no reason to get an inkjet one. My dot matrix one does everything perfectly. That'll be very set in the way, because goodness, if you use dot matrix printers still now.
Alright, I think we're gonna wrap things up here. Congratulations again to Metallica, and thank you again to SpeedGaming for letting us host this event. Great to have a nice place to stream and to compile all of the runs, so big props to them for running all this with us.
Yeah, it's been fun. Hopefully, some won't see them, I guess. Know they're watching people next time when I do another race. Yeah, that makes sense. If I can't see them, they're just people. Anyway. Bye.
May the
Well
force
done.
be with you,
Yeah,
and good luck on your further matches.